I'm Sam Chandrasoma from Team Ironman 4x4. Today I'm featuring Car and Me. From the school days, I was always a 4x4 fanatic. For my O-levels, just after O-levels, my father bought me a Toyota double cab. That was, I guess, the beginning of my 4x4 career. But unfortunately, I had to leave the country just after my O-levels and lived in Australia for roughly around 13 years. And in 2001, I got back. Slowly, as I was settling down in Sri Lanka with my career-wise as well as family-wise, I wanted to get back again into 4x4. In 2005, I bought my Wrangler, which I still have. It sort of has a lot of value for me, sentimental value in that case. I'm the only 4x4 extreme driver who actually used a brand new modified Wrangler in an extreme terrain. I never took part in a standard class events, but I went straight into extreme 4x4. To shorten things, in 2010, I had to change the brand because of certain limitations I had with the Wrangler, and I swapped into Nissan Petrol. So in 2011, in Sri Lanka, we got together and opened Nissan Petrol Club of Sri Lanka. And in 2012, I took over Ironman 4x4 as the agent for the country. We started Team Ironman 4x4, which is a racing entity of the Ironman part, where we do organizing of events, we run events as team. And then in 2016, we went on to further expanding into ICERT. ICERT stands for Ironman 4x4 Community Emergency Response Team. So that's probably one of those things that changed the whole 4x4 culture in Sri Lanka. We went into search and rescue. We are a part of the Disaster Management Center now. We are the first response team to the Disaster Management Center. And during any natural disaster, we will be called in before anyone else just to check out things and give more information. We are trained by the Japanese government, not only us, but APAD, through APAD. APAD is a shortened form for Asia Pacific Alliance for Disaster Management. So through them, we got training. We are still being trained, refresher courses. All the team of mine are certified for CPR and search and rescue both. I'm not only into 4x4 part, but I'm into rally as well. In 2016, I won the most number of rallies in Sri Lanka. We call it TSD rallies. That's time, distance, and speed based on rallies. And I have won many events. I have taken part on many 4x4 events as well as rally events. So going into my family background, I actually do come from an Ayurvedic medicine manufacturing company. My father, my grandfather, and everyone else are Ayurvedic physicians, whereas I think I broke the whole tradition of being Ayurvedic family, being the eldest in the family, the whole generation. In 2001, I got married in Sri Lanka, and then I had my daughter in 2004 and my son in 2006. So there, of course, I hope at least my son will follow me. Wife's father is a famous scriptwriter in Sri Lanka who passed away a couple of years ago. Daya Rajapaksa by his name. Thanks to her, of course, I managed to keep up with my passion. I get a lot of help from her by taking over all the responsibilities at home and giving me enough time to concentrate on what I love doing. Ironman 4x4 is a brand of 4x4 equipment based in Australia. It's a manufacturer. They are about 60 years old. For any other country other than Sri Lanka, it's only a 4x4 brand. But for Sri Lanka, it means a little more than a brand of 4x4 equipment. Well, we have roughly about 60 members, those who are directly involved with what we do. But on top of that, we have a range of fans and those who are followers. We have about 100,000 altogether followers for the whole Ironman 4x4 community. I always had a passion for 4x4, and I guess as I mentioned earlier to you that when I was small, even my uncles, we used to go to Yala. They used to get bogged. They used to do a lot of 4x4 activities. I think it's probably something that I got into through my uncle, who's actually passed away several years back. So with buying the first 4x4, the double cab, I think that leaded the way for me to get to this level. I'll still be me, but as I said that, of course, wanting to improve the quality and to spread this sport among the younger generation. But I would still be doing what I'm doing. If as a sport, if I have not taken a 4x4, I would guess that I would probably be into water sports. Well, my first race was in 2007, Slada 1000. I actually took part as a navigator for my friend. We ran in a Wrangler. It was basically, I was an amateur, but we managed to set a record. We did. People who knows about TSG rallies would know what I am talking of. A zero debit on the first leg. So For me, it was challenging, but then again, as a driver, a 4x4 competitor, extreme 4x4 competitor. My first racing again was in 2007 in my Wrangler. That was quite fun. I actually didn't have any goals. I just wanted to complete the racing, and I completed it. Basically, my aim was to not to break down, but to finish the race. And even to date, that's my motive. That if I start something, I will complete it. I don't need to do it in a hurry, or I don't need to beat anybody, but I will finish what I start. Well, 4x4 was, it's a new sport, as I could say. The first race ever race was held in Habarana in 2004. So I guess it's not that old, but the younger crowd is gathering around this sport. Certain people, of course, don't think that this should be taken as a sport, considering the fact that we are a third world country and we have a lot of poor people, whereas people, if you know that people love their vehicles, they worship their vehicles, and whereas we go and put them in mud, break them, do whatever that a vehicle is not supposed to do. So there are two sides to it. So, but I must say that with the technology, people getting to know what happens around the world, there are such races happening all around, and Sri Lankans taking part in overseas events. It is becoming popular, and I hope that it will continue to grow. The best 4x4 track. Well, you couldn't exactly say what is best, because every track is different to each other and everyone has its own strengths. But if you ask me lengthwise, of course there was a track which is not available to us anymore. CERT, C-E-R-T, Commando Regiment Training School in Nuvakoda. The longest track was 15 kilometers, and that was challenging. In fact, only few people has ever managed to complete that track. Well, I have my current co-driver when it comes to 4x4. As I said, there are two segments of this. One is a TSD rally, and one is the extreme 4x4 event. For extreme 4x4 event, I wouldn't change my mind on the current co-driver I have, who happened to be Saman Karanagoda. And for TSD rally, I have the best TSD rally navigator in the country, Methun Sankar. I couldn't think of anyone else. And if any of them are not running, I wouldn't even think of taking part. Extreme 4x4 International, that is actually Rainforest Challenge in Malaysia, which is held every year in December. And in fact, I'm proud to say that a Sri Lankan team is taking part in that event even this year as well. So we hope that they will bring us glory this year. They took part in last time in 2010, and they became the overall the third out of 40 countries that took part in that event. So that's Malaysia Rainforest Challenge. So there's nothing harder than that. There's nothing beyond that. International 4x4 events were challenging at a time that we didn't know what we were doing. As I said that before, that 4x4 is quite young to this country. So, but over the last few years, we have gathered the technology from others, other countries, and we have developed our vehicles challenging as any other or competitive as any other anyone else who could build it, or any other country. So they are tough. Different events have different rules and regulations, but it's when it comes to 4x4, they say it's a 3M concept. It's man, machine, and mind. So it's 30% man, 30% mind, 30% machine. So without any of those elements, you could not run it. So as if you have all three elements strong, that means you can get somewhere. One of the best achievements in my life, other than winning events and completing, is the creation of iCert. Through iCert, we managed to change the whole view the society had on 4x4. So we are actually the first response team to disaster management center, and we are trained by Japanese government through APAD. APAD stands for Asia Pacific Alliance for Disaster Management. So with iCert, we have managed to do a lot of social work. We bridged the gap between the civil society and the forces. So we work hand in hand with the Sri Lankan forces, that is Army, Navy and Air Force mainly. Of course, with their help, or rather there are parts that they are reluctant to do, or they have they need expertise on, where we come into the picture. Well, there hasn't been much progress with the current authorities, whereas the 4x4 community is facing a lot of issues of doing modification. However, the authorities have decided to crack down on almost all modified vehicles, 4x4s mainly. But the downside of it is that they have not managed to come out with a system for people to go ahead like other countries. So I believe that, I hope rather, that in time to come, the authorities will look into this and give some fair decision to the 4x4 lovers. Colombo being one of the safest, as in natural disaster-wise, in Sri Lanka, and having the best roads around, people may think that everywhere else the same, but 90% of this country is still untarred roads. We have gravel, we have areas prone to disasters. So basically, if we travel out of Colombo, there's not enough lighting. There's roads that you can hardly maneuver through. So these 4x4 modifications are quite essential to people who live either out of Colombo or go in and out of Colombo. That is something that everybody should get together and sort out pretty soon. 2016 being the year that we had the last TSD rally. Since then, the organizers have issues of finding proper areas to conduct events, as well as getting permission from the authorities, and top of that, finding sponsors. So it is dying. The 4x4 TSD rally is dying, as well as the 4x4 events, 4x4 extreme events are being held right now, but the participation has been quite minimal. So I'm going to take this opportunity to wish best of the luck for the teams that are going in December to Malaysia Rainforest Challenge, representing Sri Lanka. Hope they will bring glory to this small country, and we will support them as much as we can. My team is my biggest strength, so I'm thankful to all the members of Team Ironman 4x4 as well as Ironman 4x4 Community Emergency Response Team.